Keane's turned his back on Sunderland after they dropped into the relegation zone. A 4-1 humiliation by Bolton, the final straw in his 100th game in charge. But his former mentor goes from strength to strength. Supreme against City in the Manchester derby as Liverpool and Chelsea stumbled. United almost in striking distance of the leaders now, at 11 years since they last lost to Sunderland in the league, when John Mullin was the match winner. Hello everyone, this is Steve Banyard alongside John Gregory. It's the Barclays Premier League at Old Trafford today, and Manchester United against Sunderland. Well, if the biggest winners last week were Manchester United after the top two dropped points, the biggest losers were most definitely Sunderland. There's the new European Footballer of the Year, Cristiano Ronaldo. 42 goals from him last season made him Europe's top scorer. Of course, originally today it was billed as a meeting between a master and his pupil. Sir Alex Ferguson was the general in Manchester United's finest ever season, of course. Roy Keane was the lieutenant, a golden, never-to-be-forgotten era. As the players prepare to come out, of course, Manchester United hearts certainly warmed by events last weekend. As if winning the Manchester derby wasn't enough, they then witnessed Chelsea upended by Arsenal, Liverpool constricted to a goalless draw by West Ham. All enough to leave United just 6 points off the pace, and, importantly, with the game in hand. And suddenly those teams that threatened to be over the horizon and far, far away were once again back in range. Well, I wonder what Roy Keane would have made of this today. A player who was signed in the summer of 1993. He went on to become one of their all-time greats here, winning 7 Premier League titles. A forceful, dominant leader on the pitch. He never used to be shy when it came to a battle. John, something of an enigma?
Well, it's I think it's a massive surprise to everybody to see that Roy Keane has effectively walked away from Sunderland. Never been a quitter in my eyes, certainly as a player. But you know, once Roy Keane makes up his mind to do something, Steve, there's nobody on this earth can ever change his mind. I think he made up his mind over the weekend after that humiliation at home to Bolton last week that he was going to call it a day. And I think that Niall Quinn, his chairman at Sunderland, did try and change his mind, but as we know, Roy Keane has walked away, missed the chance of coming back to his former ground here at Old Trafford today with his team Sunderland. But I'm sure that no matter where Roy is in the world, he'll certainly have probably both eyes on this thrilling encounter this afternoon. But certainly the game is not such a healthy place without Roy Keane.
Well, let's look at the United side today. And Cristiano Ronaldo, as we've seen, back from his one-match ban for his red card at Eastlands last Sunday. Rafael there, the only survivor from the team that started against Blackburn in midweek, meaning the 4 goals from Carlos Tevez, still not enough to earn him a place in the 11 today. Darren Fletcher's okay after a slight hamstring problem, but too soon to reintroduce Paul Scholes, despite his comeback in the League Cup. So Berbatov and Rooney quite clearly the first choice pairing up front. A team which almost picks itself these days. Out wide, the industrious Park Ji-sung and the European Footballer of the Year. And if you ever doubt why this man's so popular, well, Ronaldo scored in each of the 5 home Premier League games he's played this season. Sunderland recalled Dwight Yorke today for his first league start since October. Another United old boy, Kieran Richardson, misses out. He's suspended after amassing 5 yellow cards, with Gordon and McCartney injured. Nosworthy and Jones dropping to the bench. The other players restored are Fulop in goal, Diouf and Anton Ferdinand who's up against his older brother Rio today. Yorke's presence as a midfield anchor means it's just Cisse up through the middle. Bardsley, of course, at left-back today, another of the Old Trafford old boys. And Malbranque, the only remaining Sunderland player to start every league game this season. Today marks his 250th Premier League appearance of his career. Well, Roy Keane had 100 games in charge at Sunderland. I'm sure their fans won't forget how he transformed them. Just over 2 years ago, the Black Cats next to bottom in the Championship. But now, of course, they have to look to the future. Mickey Sprager, assisted by the reserves coach Neil Bailey and indeed Dwight Yorke in selecting the side today, John. All three of whom have United connections.
Yes, of course they do. And Dwight Yorke, of course, a member of that famous European Cup winning side, Champions League winning side, should I say. In 1999 they won the treble that year. Yorke, of course, one of my former players at Aston Villa. He swapped the delightful city of Birmingham for an even more delightful city of Manchester, and went on to have a sparkling career at Old Trafford. I'd imagine that we'll find him sat in the heart of the Sunderland team today, probably playing in an anchor role. But Yorke will need to show all his experience and ability in what should be a very difficult game for Sunderland today.
There he is, Dwight Yorke, 37 years old, still going strong. And there's Ricky Sprager, the 52-year-old Scot, and Neil Bailey alongside him. The referee today, by the way, is Mark Halsey, assisted by Trevor Massey and Andy Garrett. Well, Sir Alex Ferguson's already seen off two of his former players this week with wins against Manchester City and Blackburn. Now he's up against his former reserve team boss, Ricky Sprager, filling in the void at Sunderland following Roy Keane's resignation. And Sir Alex today looking for his 500th top-flight win today. And Sir Alex banned from the bench today as part of a punishment for his conduct towards the ref in the Hull match here. Sunderland with a couple of injuries at the moment. Craig Gordon with an ankle problem, and George McCartney out with a foot injury. And Patrice Evra there, who's facing up to a possible 4-match ban, which should be introduced just before Christmas. That's all as a result of something that happened post-match last season in the warm-down in the match against Chelsea. And here's Berbatov. Rooney invited to make the run forward. Phil Bardsley, one of the United connections here today, playing at left-back.
You just mentioned Evra. I mean, I was fortunate to be at the Manchester City and Manchester United derby last week, in which, in my opinion, Patrice Evra was truly outstanding. He played almost as a left winger, and he was a constant threat to the Manchester City right side of the pitch. I enjoy watching this boy get forward. There's just a shot there of Sir Alex up in the gods.
So United with Mike Phelan down on the sidelines today. There's the young Brazilian Rafael, for whom it's really been a breakthrough season.
He's a good player, and I think that's testament to how well he's doing at the moment. He himself was superb against Manchester City last week, and the fact that he's keeping out the club captain Gary Neville, who sits on the bench today. Sir Alex quite happy to continue with De Silva in that right back role.
I'm sure we're going to see Ronaldo and Park Ji-sung alternating down the flanks today. Ronaldo seems to have started down the right here, just ahead of Rafael.
I think we can hear in the background the Manchester United fans that are singing about Keano. Only one Roy Keane, of course, who had a glittering career here at Old Trafford.
Well, Quinn has voiced his public support for Keane despite the circumstances of his departure this week, may have surprised many.
But we all know what football's like, Steve, and certainly, although it'll never be forgotten, football moves on very, very quickly.
So certainly Sunderland have to look to the future very smartly as Rooney tries to lift it on for Berbatov. As you look at Sunderland's upcoming matches, the next two home games against the two teams who started the weekend below them, although curiously they have taken more points on their travels this season. The two Ferdinand brothers there, Rio and Anton. Not the first time he's faced his older brother. He came off the bench for West Ham to score against Manchester United last December. It was a match the Hammers went on to win, John, 2-1.
It was a very special goal as well, if you remember, Steve. I think it was a left foot volley that flew into the top corner. Certainly showed his brother how to finish on that particular day. You mentioned briefly there about Sunderland's next two matches, both at home and in matches that you kind of expect them to win. I can certainly expect Sunderland to make an appointment this week and certainly to lift the morale at the football club. Although, of course, any kind of result here against Manchester United will in turn lift the morale.
Evra. Have you had your interview yet?
I think you've got more chance than I have, Steve. But no, certainly I think they'll make an appointment this week and try and use that momentum to certainly win those next two very important home matches. But they're both certainly matches that they are capable of winning and should win. And with the new manager at the helm, I'm sure there's every opportunity to pick up the maximum 6 points that they need.
Manchester United have been going very strongly in the last few weeks. And of course, they wrap up their group stages in the Champions League this week when they face Aalborg, but they have already got through and they can afford to relax a little. Of course, they've got the Club World Cup coming up as well. And, Japan in the coming weeks. They'll face either Gamba Osaka or a team from Australia or New Zealand. Here's Darren Fletcher. He's overcome a slight hamstring strain to take part here today. And Ronaldo. Poked away from Malbranque to Evra. And Evra already looking very lively down that far side.
Yeah, Sunderland look like they're set up with almost a five-man midfield just stretched out across the park with just Cisse, we can see there just in the left-hand side of the picture. He's their out-and-out striker. And they're really quite happy just to try and sit back and try and soak up everything that United are going to throw at them. A bit of a subdued atmosphere, I think, Steve, in the stadium at the moment.
Well, United looking to keep the pressure very much on Chelsea and Liverpool. Of course, they do have the game in hand before this weekend's fixtures. Always in a position of playing catch-up right now, but we know how United get stronger and stronger through the season, and if they're in the shake-up by the turn of the year, which I'm sure they will be, then you can expect them to power their way forwards during 2009. Sweet effort by Berbatov. Sunderland with Ferdinand and Collins in the centre-back area today.
Thought Berbatov last week looked a little bit more like his old self. Certainly taken him a little while to settle into this Manchester United side. But certainly he was very impressive in that Manchester derby last week. His partnership alongside Wayne Rooney appears to be flourishing. They're getting a good understanding, and certainly his work rate has stepped up a little bit. Never been one to go charging around the pitch that much, Steve, Dimitar Berbatov, but certainly he had to work hard last week, especially when United had Cristiano Ronaldo sent off.
Oh, what a huge fillip that was to United to beat Mancunian rivals. Indeed, the extra boost of Chelsea being turned over by Arsenal at home, then Liverpool at home held by West Ham. It was a wonderful weekend for those who support the Red Devils. Berbatov's flick to Rooney. Ronaldo popping up on the left this time, up against Chimbonda. There by Ferdinand, there's Evra. Now Dwight Yorke. 10 years ago, when Dwight Yorke was signed from Aston Villa, he became Manchester United's player of that incredible season, that wonderful treble-winning season.
Well, he had a few contemporaries that particular season. It was a glorious season, treble winners, of course, and certainly there was a lot of potential candidates for player of the season that year, but Yorke quite rightly won it.
Park Ji-sung has found Berbatov. Excellent support play here. Oh, and a chance in the middle. Collins nods away. Look where Rafael popped up there. Very different role for him these days. Hasn't got the pace, but he still has the craft.
Yeah, he can still pass that ball, Stevie. Just in here, Berbatov hasn't really got the pace to get away, but Silva gets himself forward, much like Evra does on the left-hand side. Sir Alex encourages this young Brazilian to go and join in whenever he feels fit. He's still got Ferdinand and Vidic behind him, looking after the back door.
Yes, it really is a blessing when you know there's that sort of cover behind you. Not many pairings can even get close to that of Ferdinand and Vidic.
You've often heard me say, Steve, that strikers win your matches, but it's defenders that win your championships. And certainly United, with the likes of Ferdinand, Vidic, and behind him Van der Sar, extremely strong defence.
Tevez slumped in his chair. 4 goals for the first time as a player, and still not enough to get a place in the starting 11 today. Here's Cristiano Ronaldo, 10 minutes played. Ronaldo still. Well, an early chance for him to set his sights.
He just comes inside. He's got one thing on his mind, really, to just try and get a shot in on target or win a free kick. Doesn't get either. Disappointing finish.
Mentioned about the European Footballer of the Year award, the Ballon d'Or, as it's known. 77 out of 96 journalists polled made him their top player of the year. Don't know what was wrong with the other 19.
Well, evidently the talk in the Man United dressing room this week was that he was rather upset. Glad that he won it, but a bit upset that he didn't come second and third as well.
Well, here he is, right on cue. Now Fletcher. Evra. Park Ji-sung. He really is something of an unsung hero with United this season, I reckon. Wonderful play, Ronaldo to Berbatov. Fulop did enough just to block there, the Hungarian goalkeeper. And Rooney popping up in all sorts of interesting places here for United. There's a problem for the defenders, whether to push up and go with him. Fletcher. Oh, clever, you can see the intention there with Evra on the outside. Cisse, bolted by Vidic. Oh, he's got a blue stripe today.
That's this great little touch from Ronaldo. Knew exactly where Berbatov was. Sets it up for him and possibly could have tucked it away in the bottom corner, Berbatov. He hits it almost straight at the Fulop. Manages to get his feet to it, scrambled it clear. One-way traffic at the moment, Steve. I expect it to be like that. United, though, need to get this goal, need to get this early goal. It just settles them down a little bit.
Once again, the way that Sunderland are set up here, John, they've got a bank of 5 really across midfield. It's a defensive strategy more than an offensive one today.
Oh, absolutely.
Certainly if they can keep United reasonably quiet early on, it'll give them a bit of confidence. Ronaldo looking for the free kick there, he's got it, and Whitehead protests.
I think that was what Dean Whitehead was saying to the referee, Mark Halsey. You know that he's trying to get a free kick here, ref. He's just going to see a load of legs and go down. There's no intent in that from Whitehead whatsoever. But Ronaldo's won his free kick. Might be a little bit too close, I think, possibly for Cristiano Ronaldo. Wayne Rooney standing over the ball. Ronaldo normally likes to set fire to them from a little bit further out than this, possibly.
Well, did you notice there, he just moved the ball back a yard or so?
Absolutely, the further away I think will suit him.
Valve pointing towards him. That all helps to get the dip and the swerve. Oh, he's moved it back a bit further here. Don't think the referee spotted that.
Wayne Rooney needs to step back as well. No, it certainly does suit Ronaldo. The further away from goal, well, not necessarily the further away, but certainly if he can get it out to about 25 to 30 yards.
Well, Mark Halsey has missed that. He's moved it back 2 or 3 yards.
He's got away with it. This is more the distance. It was far too close for Ronaldo before, but now by coming back that extra 5 yards, it's just giving him a little bit more distance in which to get the ball up and then get it back down again. 6
goals in 6 league games. Decoy. Rooney! Great save by Fulop. Really instinctive reactions from the Sunderland goalkeeper. And a really cute little move that by Manchester United.
I think this gets a deflection off Berbatov here. There's the left foot, he sticks it out. He's possibly going to miss the target completely. Berbatov just pushes it in. Fulop's already on his way down. Manages to get a big hand to it and they scramble it clear.
And Berbatov now right by the goalkeeper. Oh, and it's all the way through. Oh, Fulop perhaps feels he was blocked off here.
Got a bit of a block on the line, I think, from Berbatov. Certainly Ronaldo should have kept his eye on the ball. Look, straight past Cristiano Ronaldo. At least he didn't handball it.
That's the fact that Fulop didn't handball it that was Sunderland's problem. Evra here to Parchy's son now. Corresponding game last season, 1-0 to United. Louis Saha the scorer that day. United went on to complete the league double. 4-0 at the Stadium of Light. Saha with a couple more. Rooney, Ronaldo. Almost inevitably. And look at the possession here.
Yeah, it's certainly been like that since the first minute. Ricky got a full head of black hair at the moment. That will soon change.
He'll probably turn more into Neil Bailey given a few weeks. Interestingly, Neil Bailey and Mike Phelan both down on the benches, the opposing benches. They're both working towards their pro licences at the moment. Next summer they should fully qualify. Ricky Sprager, who was here for 3 years from 2002 before he moved up to Bolton. Of course, the Sam Allardyce connection is one which many people have looked very closely at in the last couple of days. Maybe pinpointed that Big Sam might be the big man on the Stadium of Light territory fairly soon.
I have to say, Steve, I think it'd be an ideal choice. I would certainly, given the position, being in that position, I would certainly recommend Sam Allardyce. I think it'd be perfect for Sunderland. He's just the kind of personality and his coaching and managerial ability as well, I think, is very good, and it would be very, very suited to Sunderland Football Club. And if there's a man that can get them out of this relegation situation, I think Sam Allardyce is certainly the man.
Maybe the only thing working against him, the fact that he was the Newcastle manager. But Some would say that might be a bonus for him.
I think it would be a bonus for him, because there's nothing he would love better than to stick it up the Newcastle team just barely 15 minutes away.
Sunderland struggling to get a grip of this match. At the moment, United controlling it and creating a few early chances. Both fullbacks very prominent getting forward here for United. And again, that's one of the difficulties when Sunderland try and defend against this team. They can come at you from absolutely anywhere. Ronaldo here. Rafael had checked into an onside position. It's come off Diouf, then Rafael.
United just got to keep the tempo. For me, they've just got to keep the movement going. They've got to keep passing the football, keep giving themselves options, just literally tiring out the Sunderland team if they can, and eventually they'll break them down, providing they don't allow the tempo to drop.
Just a little flick of the right boot there by Ronaldo on Bardsley. It does seem with Cristiano Ronaldo, I suppose like lots of players, but there is a slightly volatile streak to him at times.
Well, I think it comes with that little bit of arrogance that he's got. I say a little bit of arrogance. He's probably got more than that, Steve.
Hey, if we had his ability, we'd be arrogant too. Berbatov here. It's away by Chimbonda this time. Almost as if it was stuck on his forehead by a bit of glue. Carrick penalised now.
Yeah, good decision, I think, this. Whitehead just getting ahead of Michael Carrick. Possibly fell down under pressure. He wasn't going anywhere. You could see Vidic coming across.
What exactly did he do wrong?
Didn't do a great deal wrong, did he?
Well, Sunderland with a chance to ease some of the early pressure here. Anton Ferdinand. Reid. There's no doubting that they will miss someone like Kieran Richardson today. Yet another connection between the clubs, inevitable really when you bear in mind how the former manager and the current coaching staff link. Bardsley in tight once more.
They literally can't get the ball under control in the opposition half, Sunderland.
Rio Ferdinand. This time it was Ji-sung just lurking. If Sunderland do get it up to Cisse, he really has to make it stick and allow the other midfield players to come and support. That's the only way they're going to buy themselves a bit of time here, I think. Diouf. That's another great example of the work from Ji-sung. Cross quite comfortable for Fulop.
Yeah, the cross could have been better, but certainly his work rate, Ji-sung, that's the reason why Sir Alex keeps picking him. Once he gets in the team, it's very difficult for anyone else to get him beyond him. He certainly justifies his selection every week.
Rooney. Ferdinand. Anton Ferdinand losing the ball here dangerously. Berbatov, Ji-sung. Sunderland with enough blue shirts back there. Oh, a little slip. That could have been costly.
Just coming back at them all the time, Sunderland. Cannot get the ball even out of their own half.
Wave after wave of red pressure here. This is Fletcher. It's almost like the water putting pressure on a dam. We just wonder when that dam will get breached. Cisse on the chase here.
Easy for those two. Even when Vidic is put under pressure, he's got a turn of foot as well. He's been a massive signing, I think, Nemanja Vidic to Manchester United. They already had Ferdinand, but when they brought in Vidic alongside him, look incredibly strong.
Oh, Reid's lost it here to Berbatov now. Back it comes. Here's Fletcher. United unbeaten in the last 12 Barclays Premier League meetings with Sunderland. That's home or away. Here's Rafael. Great play here again, and well, it was Whitehead sliding in, the deflection for a corner.
Brilliant football from United.
Incessant from the men in red. Rooney, Carrick, surely a matter of time. How long can Sunderland survive this onslaught?
It's just gone back again into the United half. Not one blue shirt near it.
It's like putting Muhammad Ali up against Amir Khan. Fletcher. Well, they've bought a bit of time, and once again they've gone for the quick release to Cisse. Now they can take a gasp of breath. Whitehead to Chimbonda. Confidence, you would suspect, pretty low at Sunderland right now. 5 defeats in 6. 6 in the last 7 if you want to include all competitions. Form that has seen them plummet into the bottom 3.
Of course, they had that in the middle of all that. They had that great result over Newcastle, and everything seemed rosy up at the Stadium of Light. Fantastic win over their local rivals. I don't think anybody could see further down the line in the second week of December that their manager would be gone and they'd be here at Old Trafford, barely getting a kick of the football.
What a pass from Carrick. Park Ji-sung. Indeed, what a free kick it was by Richardson that day. Here's Michael Carrick. Wayne Rooney. Brilliant from Rooney on the turn. Couldn't find the target, but the movement and the initial touch was sublime.
Well, I have to say, Wayne Rooney, for me, he's already the Footballer of the Year for me. Just in what he's done in the opening 4 months of the season, I think he's been truly outstanding. And I think what was evident to me, which some people may not initially see, was last weekend when Cristiano Ronaldo was sent off. Rooney was immediately over to the dugout to Sir Alex Ferguson, asking him where he wanted him to play. He ran literally from the centre circle right over to the dugout. Where do you want me to play, Gaffer? And obviously Ferguson said, I want you to play down the left-hand side. He just went, yep, no problem, Gaffer. And over he went, and he just played on the left wing for the last 20 minutes of that match. Brilliant professional. I think his form, both for United and for his country, England, has been truly outstanding this season. Another
attempted through ball there for Park Ji-sung. We were speaking about the petulance occasionally of players like Ronaldo earlier, and you mentioned about Rooney. I think personally his maturity mentally, Sir Alex has worked a miracle there. It was only a couple of years ago everybody was worried about Rooney's temperament. Now he seems one of the most level-headed players out there.
I have to say, I have to agree with you totally, Steve.
And here's Cisse and Diouf. And here's Dwight Yorke. And Dwight Yorke, of course, someone who made nearly 100 league appearances for United himself. Rafael. did well there, just was biding his time. Yorke, oh, held on to it too long. Park Ji-sung, rescued by Fulop. And, well, the header into the side netting, but Fulop got Sunderland out of trouble there.
I think it's Chimbonda that got injured on the way down. It's Yorke who dwells on the ball on the edge of the box, and there he is again, Park Ji-sung. And Fulop comes to the rescue yet again. He's already been kept busy this afternoon. Little touch from Wayne Rooney. And I think Fulop carries on and crashes into Chimbonda. I think more than anything, he just needed to have a little breather. Give his team a rest. Because all they've done in this opening 29 minutes or so is just chase around trying to get that ball back off of Manchester United.
7 goal attempts to 0. 5 on target from United. Well, they knew it would be a tall order. They look rather pensive down there on the Sunderland bench.
I think Ricky would be quite happy the fact that they've yet to concede. To get to 30 minutes, considering that they've hardly seen the football at all, and still be at 0-0, he'd be delighted.
They're not the first, and they won't be the last to sit down there on the bench at Old Trafford and wonder how on earth you contain the attacking force that is Manchester United. Evra. Park Ji-sung. Diouf hoists it clear. Ronaldo. Berbatov. And Sunderland at the moment having to sit with just about everybody behind the ball. Rafael on the burst here for United. It was Reid who charged it down. Sunderland, as soon as they get it, they're launching it long to Cisse. But it's not buying them too much time.
Launching it long to Vidic and Ferdinand, really. They're just picking it up straight away.
Surely it's a matter of when rather than if. Berbatov to Rafael. Berbatov's touch. Lots of little delightful flicks around the edge of the Sunderland area. Edwin van der Sar might as well be in the dressing room. Evra, Berbatov, Rafael, back by Carrick. Is this what's called squeezing the play? Well, it's just being played in one half at the moment.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Do you know what? It's almost as if Sunderland are waiting to concede. You know, they'll probably concede that first goal, Steve, and they'll probably then think, well, we might as well have a go and actually sort of come out and try and play. But at the moment, it's just one-way traffic. It's as if the whole of the attendance here this afternoon at Old Trafford, the Sunderland team and the Manchester United team are just waiting for Manchester United to score that first goal. The sooner it comes, the better.
Oh, the Sunderland supporters, some of the proudest in the country. And no matter what sort of a fix their side is in, they will continue to support. Rooney on the burst. Oh, Carrick right on the edge of the area. Bardsley's tackle. The referee thought it was fair and square. Here's Malbranque. Rather Whitehead, who's conceded the throw. Evra, Rooney.
You can see why Roy Keane left. They're awful. They're absolutely awful.
And yet, it's 0-0. I wonder if they're serving prawn sandwiches today, by the way. Tea cakes are good. Park Ji-sung. Carrick. And there's Rooney, made an angle. Rooney still. It is frantic defending, and Park Ji-sung finally off Chimbonda for the corner.
Yeah, just expect Rooney here to pull the trigger. Falls through, it doesn't quite get that first touch on it. Just overruns it. It's enough for Danny Collins just to put his foot in. Eventually it's out for a corner.
Martin Fulop's faced everything but the kitchen sink so far in this first half. Rooney. Berbatov. Rafael, time to measure the cross. It's come to Carrick. A miscue. Fletcher.
He's just expecting this cross to find a red shirt. It's a great defensive header. It's Ferdinand who gets it away. Anton, that is. And it falls to Darren Fletcher. And that's in amongst the crowd behind the goal.
Well, cut me there for Phil Bardsley. And Rafael was crossing that. A lack of cover very noticeable there for Sunderland. Ricky Sprague getting some instructions through Andy Reid to the team here. He's just going to have to hope that they can keep United at bay for another 10 minutes. Sir Alex behind Sir Bobby.
Nice collection of hats there in the Charlton family. I think in these situations, you know, when you're the Sunderland team here and the Sunderland management team, Steve, you come in, you think, well, do we try and pack our defence? Do we try and fill up the midfield just to deny United goal-scoring opportunities, or do we actually try and play as an offensive unit and actually try and get something from the game? And I think they've obviously chosen the former. Pack the centre midfield with 5 midfield players, just left Cisse up front on his own. And so far, that plan's worked for them. It does appear, though, really, Steve, it's just a question of time before Manchester United get that first goal.
Well, if you're in Ricky Sprague's shoes right now and the team has been stuffed 4-1 by Bolton at home, you can't really blame them for just trying a policy of containment here today. Carrick. Well, it's up to United here to break them down and create better chances, better openings for the strikers.
Yeah, it's certainly hard for United trying to break down this very resistant Sunderland team.
Evra. Ronaldo. So back here with Rio Ferdinand. To Rafael. Berbatov. Evra. Ronaldo. Patience is a virtue. Fletcher. Sunderland are squeezing the life out of this match. Manchester United have to plough on. Evra, great work from him again. The fullbacks very noticeable in this first half.
United just managed to get a corner out of this. Certainly Patrice Evra, very advanced of his red-shirted teammates.
Well, even when you think Fletcher's misplaced it, it still works out. Here's Rooney, Carrick, Ronaldo, Carrick. Look at all the players grouped in and around the penalty area there. Oh, a free kick here as Diouf takes a tumble.
Yeah, definitely a bit late here from Darren Fletcher. Lacks a bit of pace at times, I think, Fletcher. Certainly got done for pace there by Diouf. Again, another opportunity for Sunderland to take a breather. I think United have tried to go straight through the middle most of this first half. I think they need to get the ball out wide. They need to use Evra. They need to use Silva. They certainly need Ronaldo to stay wide, I think. Because that's the way in, I think, in round behind the fullbacks, as opposed to trying to plough through that middle where there's so many bodies.
Really commanding header at the back. Well,
free kick. I think Mike Halsey allowed it to go on, Steve, just to see if Sunderland here's the foul. Certainly holding down Diouf. Mike Halsey saw the ball go to Sunderland and allowed them a little bit of the advantage. And all that possession they've had in that first 40 minutes could come and bite them on the backside here from this free kick in a very, very dangerous position.
Well, this is the first real opportunity that Sunderland have had to test Edwin van der Sar. Kieran Richardson might have been favourite had he been here today. Djibril Cisse will inevitably fancy his chances. Reid with the touch off here for Cisse. Here's Chimbonda. And away by Carrick. Rooney on the burst here for United. Galloping forward, the ball rather got stuck between his feet.
What a waste of such a good chance. Sunderland not going to get many opportunities to score today, you wouldn't have thought, Steve. That was a great opportunity for them to have certainly taken a little bit more time on it, been a bit more positive.
Evra. Certainly a rare opportunity for Sunderland that should have been treasured. Oh, Diouf. Almost sums up Sunderland's first half. Rafael. Oh, in credit. Diouf and Cisse back there helping out.
I think Fletcher should have just held on to that a little bit longer.
Neil Bailey on the left there, the former academy coach here, Ricky Sprager, who used to take the reserves at Manchester United.
I'm sure Ricky's using the same hair dye as me, Steve. Got a head full of black hair.
You can tell that I don't need to worry about that these days. Collins. And Yorke. Rooney. Just cleverly lifted on by Fletcher. Carrick alongside him. Options every which way forward.
Just keep going through that middle, didn't they, Steve? And just coming up against blue shirts all the time. Got to try and work it out on the wide. Try and get in behind the fullbacks as opposed to going straight down through the middle.
You know something, John? United have this wonderful strength of counter-attacking football, but you can only counter when the other team actually bothers to get up the other end. And Sunderland may well have done a very smart thing here in this first half. No counter-attacking here for United at the moment.
Well, I think Arsenal have faced the same problems this season. Arsenal much more suited when the opposition come onto them so they can hit them on the counter-attack. Certainly against United and against Chelsea, where they've had two famous victories this season for Arsenal, have been in games when they've almost won the game on the counter-attack. And certainly United are one of the best at it. But it's United who are being asked to force the play today. They're the ones that are just attacking incessantly, literally from that very first whistle. And they find it very difficult to break down this very stubborn Sunderland defence at the moment.
Sunderland at the moment, as we approach half-time, have been like a sponge in this first half, soaking it all up. Now they've got a rare opportunity to break forward with Reid. He's just got Cisse ahead. Whitehead was chasing on behind, and the layoff was awful.
That's the longest they've had the ball, I think, Steve, in this opening half.
Fragile confidence for Sunderland, inevitably, right now. They need a new figurehead, and they need one quick. Ronaldo, wonderful ball in, almost too good. Sent Berbatov onto his backside. Couple of important stops by the 25-year-old Hungarian goalkeeper. Came to Tottenham just over 4 years ago. Subsequently made his international debut for Hungary in May 2005. Really good tackle that time from Malbranque. I don't feel as if I've mentioned many of the Sunderland players by name here, but it's because they haven't had a touch.
That's very true. Honestly say, I don't think I've seen a more one-sided 45 minutes in the Premiership for many a season. United often dominate matches, dominate possession. Arsenal dominate matches, and Chelsea do, but I don't think I've ever seen one as one-sided as this.
2 minutes of added time.
They've been camped in their own half for 44 minutes and 48 seconds, I think, in this first period. They've been camped in their own half, just not been able to get out whatsoever, Steve.
Evra. Ooh, a little bit of a bump there for Rooney on the way through. I think that was just a 50-50 sort of challenge. My mind flicks back to the match between these two in April 2006, John, when Sunderland held out for a goalless draw. And if you remember, it severely hampered United in their chase for the title, and of course it condemned the Black Cats to the drop. Kelvin Davis, the goalkeeper that day, he was a real star.
He was absolutely awesome that day. No doubt Kelvin looks back on that as probably his greatest personal performance. He was truly outstanding.
I wonder what they'll say to their players at half-time. Well done for keeping it blank, I would think. If you can manage that for another 45 minutes, you'll have achieved more than most do here. Just the one occasion when United have failed to score, and of course that was your old club, Aston Villa, the other week.
Yeah, it was a poor game that day, I have to say. I thought both teams were poor on that particular occasion.
Rafael. Can they break through in added time at the end of the first half? Park Ji-sung never able to quite grow tall enough. Ref with a glance at the watch. It's about the most one-sided half of football you will ever see that is still goalless at half-time. Dimitar Berbatov with one or two important touches. Park Ji-sung very industrious and influential. But Martin Fulop with a couple of important saves too for Sunderland. They've held out, although quite how long they'll manage it remains to be seen. At the break at Old Trafford, it's Manchester United 0, Sunderland 0. welcome back to Old Trafford, where the Berbatov, Ronaldo, Rooney show continues, but without any notable success so far. They've been breathing down the Sunderland necks in that first half, but without a breakthrough. They're just reflecting back on that win that Sunderland had, their last league win at Old Trafford, May 1968, 40 years ago. The year United won the European Cup, of course, also the year Martin Luther King was assassinated, the year the Beatles released a White Album. John Gregory was but a lad.
I wasn't even born, what are you on about? No, I remember the White Album coming out. That was my highlight of 68, I have to say. But I made it very one-sided in that first 45 minutes. I don't really expect it to be much different in the second half, but United, of course, kicking towards their favourite Stretford end. And just a glance down at the substitutes bench. There's an array of talent, all chomping at the bit, I'm sure, to come on at any given stage to change the fortunes of United if they weren't able to get that breakthrough. Tevez, of course, sat down there, Nani, Ryan Giggs, Anderson, all players that you think could come on and certainly have some effect on this game if United weren't to get this opening goal.
Sir Alex yet to take his seat. So Carlos Tevez waiting in the wings here for Manchester United. So Alex talking about the difficulty of accommodating somebody like Carlos Tevez in this star-studded Manchester United lineup. But goalless at half-time. I wonder how long it'll be before we see the man from Argentina introduced. Shades here of the match towards the end of the 2005-06 season when Sunderland frustrated United and held on for a goalless draw that day. Ultimately, it wasn't enough for Sunderland, who were relegated in the process. But it certainly had a bearing on United's attempt to win the title of Chelsea. Marcus Frazier and Neil Bailey there taking their seats, assisted by Dwight Yorke in the team selection today. I suppose if you're part of a trio who are selecting the team, you might as well pick yourself. Dwight Yorke in the Sunderland side.
I think both Ricky and Neil are a little bit past playing anymore, so they obviously couldn't pick themselves. They certainly wouldn't have done too much wrong in this first half, I think, because it's been generally defending. Ricky Sprague, of course, an outstanding defender, although in the lower divisions for most of his footballing career. I think I might even have crossed swords with Ricky at some given stage. I'm sure I have at some stage.
You probably exchanged hair dye. Well, we'll have to see if the pattern of the first half is the pattern of the second half here, with United doing all the attacking, Sunderland doing all the defending. Precious little respite for Sunderland in the first period. I'm glad they'll have enjoyed their half-time cup of tea. Don't know that they got chocolate tea cakes. On by Rooney. Park Ji-sung. And again, when Sunderland do clear their lines, it's almost been a little bit erratic and a little bit desperate. Looking for the more direct route there, but Danny Collins with the interception. Back it comes to Rio Ferdinand. The first few minutes of the second half, reflecting the first 45. Berbatov. See how Sunderland have got their banks of defenders placed and adjusted. Ronaldo, Rooney, almost something out of nothing.
Yeah, brilliant effort. Ronaldo just slides it into Rooney, and without any thought whatsoever, that first touch of Rooney's is a direct shot on target. I think he was trying to whip it into the top corner possibly, but it ultimately ends up straight in the midriff. Martin Fulop.
Cisse followed all the way by Chimbonda. Yes, it was a Sunderland fullback who scored in their last league win against United. That was at the Stadium of Light 11 years ago. Michael Gray. John Mullin got what proved to be the decisive second. And there's the Manchester United right back now, Rafael. Fabio is a left-sided fullback. Is Fletcher. Ronaldo. Evra. Still. Fletcher. Carrick. Tough to find too many gaps there for United.
I mean, you sometimes come up against two banks of four, a back four and a midfield four, but all 10 outfield players there, including Cisse, were all back in the Manchester United half, as they still are trying to get this ball back off United. It's just one-way traffic. United finding it very difficult to break them down.
Ronaldo. Carrick. Almost being invited to shoot there by Sunderland. Rafael. Diouf working hard to pin him back. Ferdinand and Vidic. Can United break down this blue wall of resistance? Rooney. Rafael. Good chance, good turn, and Fletcher wide.
Fell to the wrong bloke, I think. Certainly would have loved to see Berbatov in the same situation. Rooney does well. Out wide to Silva. And for once it goes to a red shirt in the penalty box. So many times they've put that ball into the box, it's hit a blue shirt. Fletcher not able to wrap his foot around it. Knocks it wide, but certainly much better for United. They've got to try and be patient as they can.
Well, we see Manchester United dominating the goal attempts there, 13-1, 8-1 on target. But the penalty area can get so congested with the tactics being employed here. United, we know, can move the ball so smartly and quickly. And it's perhaps more of that sort of play, or maybe it'll be an individual run that will unlock Sunderland.
Well, it might even hit somebody up the backside, Steve, as it often does, and just falls perfectly for a red shirt.
Evra. Cisse. Fletcher. Ferdinand. In by Rafael, just too high for Berbatov. It's Fletcher again. Now Ronaldo. Fletcher, not so happy on his left. Evra is. Evra. Rooney.
No way there. Again, it fell to Fletcher, I think, after that miscue that he had barely a minute before. He didn't want to take on the shot. He was happy just to lay it off and give it to somebody else, pass the responsibility on to somebody else. I felt he should have set fire to it.
Well, the error drawn by Chimbonda. Cisse across the face of goal.
I think Berbatov, just on the edge of the penalty box, should have had it pulled back to him. He was all on his own, crying out for the ball to be laid back to him from Cisse.
Rafael. can feel the crowd urging Manchester United to get this breakthrough. It's the time of year when a man in red and white normally answers a lot of their wishes. Bardsley. A rare Sunderland foray into United's penalty area. It doesn't last too long. In the blink of an eye, it's in and out of United's penalty area. Ronaldo. Always a sense of anticipation when he gets the ball. Carrick. Good try. Really good try, and it just about stuck.
Good shot for Michael Carrick on his more unfavoured foot, on his left-hand side. Just sits down nicely, he manages to hit the target. Of course, created that goal last weekend at Manchester City with a shot on his left-hand side.
Michael Carrick, stepping up in the northeast, a player who went from Wallsends to the World Cup. Chimbonda down.
Just see this 50-50. I think Evra misses the ball somewhat, purely accidental. He just catches Pascal Chimbonda on his right ankle. Just some studs probably just run up his ankle there. Doesn't seem as bad as certainly Chimbonda made out. He's okay, he's back up on his feet.
Of course, with Evra facing this ban at the end of December, Manchester United just assessing their position. They've made precious little comment about Evra's forthcoming suspension. I think they're probably just reviewing whether, if they do make some sort of appeal, whether, as we've seen with other situations, the punishment could even be increased. Something they could ill afford, John.
It often seems to be the case when you do try and justify the reason why you're being suspended, stand up, make an appeal, you end up getting an extra game on top, or 2 games in some cases so far this season. Evra is certainly a big player for Manchester United.
Really the form of this man, Patrice Evra, very much part of the reason why Mikel Silvestre found himself surplus to requirements. Ronaldo to Carrick to Rafael. All United again. Ronaldo in the middle. Cleared by Anton Ferdinand initially. Sweet from Evra. Pinball there for Manchester United. Free kick one.
Halsey bringing that back there for the foul on Darren Fletcher, but as the ball fell to Fletcher, the referee just played on that advantage rule, but United didn't get any advantage.
United need a goal. Tevez provided 4 of them midweek. Evra, corner. And Tevez to come on imminently. A goal here and things might change. And having said that, they're going to make the switch just beforehand. Park Ji-sung is sacrificed here. We were talking, John, about how they could accommodate Tevez with Ronaldo, Rooney, Berbatov. Do you think maybe Rooney might go wide here?
I think Rooney will just go wherever Sir Alex wants him to play, possibly out here on the left-hand side. Just stick Tevez in there alongside Berbatov.
Rooney's corner. Helped on its way by Cisse. Rafael. Oh, great work by Cisse.
It's a good substitution, Steve. I think Tevez, of course, fresh from scoring 4 goals in midweek here at Old Trafford, just giving everybody a lift in the ground. Just gets them out of the seats, and the momentum just steps up 10, 15, 20%.
It's almost like a little signal of urgency to the fans and the players. Tainio being readied by Ricky Sprager. by Cisse. Chimbonda scrambling to that. Rooney quick to want to get United back on the offensive. Fletcher. Just this block of blue facing the United players here. Fletcher. Tevez. Rafael. Ronaldo. Berbatov. He's away this time. Berbatov. Ronaldo! Couldn't keep it down.
Great composure shown there by the Bulgarian. You're just waiting for him to set fire to it. It's Silva who just sets the ball up, pushes it into Ronaldo. Ronaldo to Berbatov. Looks to set fire to it. Ronaldo continues his run, but it's a poor finish by the Portuguese star over the crossbar.
Credit here to Andy Reid, I think it is, who quickly gets across as he realises the danger. That's where the injuries come from. Well, a round of applause here for Dwight Yorke. Manchester United fans remembering his contribution 10 years ago. Warmly received here today, but he's replaced by the Finn, Tainio. Same tactics, John?
Yeah, I would think so.
It's worked so far for an hour.
Well, as Tainio has just suddenly developed this attacking ability. Certainly, I think he'll just be a straight replacement for Yorke. Sit just in front of that back four and try and stem the tide.
Well, Dwight Yorke has one of the most famous grins in football, and it's certainly been a very happy hour for him.
Yeah, he's done well, Yorke. The old legs are just giving up a little bit these days, not able to get round the pitch like he used to.
Rooney. Smartly, swiftly onto Tevez.
Well, I think he's exactly right, Carlitos. He got a nudge from the defender and the ball's popped up. Watch the nudge here in the back. There you go. The ball just hits him on the arm. No intent there, I don't think, whatsoever.
Well, Ronaldo just... is it the kidneys he's got a problem with? After that bump from Andy Reid. Glanced on by Cisse to Malbranque.
A throw-in in the Manchester United half. My goodness.
What's the time?
It's taken them an hour, I think, to get a throw-in the opposition's half.
Chimbonda. And to Sunderland's credit, they have here got a few players forward. But, no sooner that they get forward, then they're going to have to retreat again.
Well, that's about the third time that Chimbonda's been down. Is there any contact here? Not that I could see.
There was a man in bandages who just unravelled, and I'm sure the invisible man was there somewhere. Here's Tevez. Fletcher behind. Ferdinand, Tevez. Crowded out.
Rather fortunate, I thought, there, Carlitos Tevez. Looked like he lost control of the ball to me. Referee saying Bardsley was holding, I think. Rather fortunate, United. They need a goal. The longer this goes on, the more frustrated they'll become, and certainly the crowd will get frustrated, start to get onto them.
Well, we're We're past the hour mark and Sunderland have survived to this point. How much longer? Ronaldo drilled in there off the head of Bardsley.
Cisse back there clearing one into the stand.
I love the way his stripe is colour coordinated. 75,500 roughly. Big crowd bursting for a goal. Rafael to Fletcher. Evra. And by Rooney. Berbatov, you just feel that with one of those, if the ball drops to him and he gets half a yard, he'll tuck it away.
That's what they haven't had too much of so far, United. Ball hasn't bounced into the penalty box and fallen to a red shirt at the moment. Some movement downstairs, I think. Steve
Anderson there alongside Mike Phelan. Oh, and Ronaldo's had enough. He's coming off.
He's obviously got something probably on the hip, the muscle on the hip. He's probably got kicked in it and got a reaction to it. So Alex trying to get somebody to answer the phone downstairs.
It's always engaged, isn't it? Either that, you lose a signal. Ronaldo seemed to have made his own mind up there, but again, he knows his importance to this Manchester United squad, and it would be stupid to take any unnecessary risks. And yet, 25 minutes here from Manchester United dropping points at home to struggling Sunderland.
And United, of course, did start to get Anderson ready, but I'm quite certain it wasn't Ronaldo that was going to come off, but that looks like the obvious choice now.
Of course, they've already lost Park Ji-sung as a winger. They do have Nani and Giggs. Fletcher was rather Carrick a little casual for a moment there.
That's the problem for United. It's been so easy for them. It's been totally one-way traffic. I think Nani was probably come on as well. Looks like there's two down there.
Nani is going to be for Ronaldo, presumably. But clearly Ronaldo's not intending to come back on from his body language. Little roll of the fingers to suggest he wants the change to be made. United playing with 10 men. Faced by Sunderland's 11. Rooney. Evra. Oh, good work again.
Again, it falls to a blue shirt in that box.
Fletcher. You can feel that tension now, can't you? Whitehead down.
Just trying to get the game stopped, I think.
It's the referee's prerogative. It's not up to the players. Now there's a free kick. 2 Sunderland players down. That's where Whitehead got bumped. Manchester United preparing to make their changes here, just as they see the replay of the collision between Whitehead and Fletcher.
Might have done his ankle there, I think. Chimbonda has gone down yet again. Never used to do that when he played for Spurs, did he?
Well, Anderson is on, and he's come on for Darren Fletcher here. And Ryan Giggs, rather than Nani, has come on for Ronaldo. Late change of mind there, maybe that's what the phone call was about.
Yeah, surprise. I thought Nani, to be honest, I thought Nani might be the guy today that might just have that little bit of pace down the flank when Park came off. I thought that Nani would have been the obvious choice to have gone straight on and taken his place to play down this left-hand side. Could have attacked with both Ronaldo on one side and Nani on the other.
Cisse here, replaced by Kenwyne Jones for Sunderland. One striker off, one striker on.
Flurry of substitutions, Steve. Let's see if it makes any difference.
Not necessarily any tactical balance to be changed here. Ostensibly, Manchester United bringing on a winger and a central midfielder, like for like, and similarly Sunderland swapping one striker for another.
I think Rooney will go and play on the right-hand side now, which he has done. Yeah, Rooney's out on the right-hand side, Giggs here on the left, Tevez and Berbatov down through the middle. Anderson, of course, straight swap in that central midfield role for Fletcher.
Diouf has found a bit of space. He's wriggled free of Rafael. And goodness me, Edwin van der Sar having to make the block. I think it got a touch off the defender's leg or toe. Bardsley. Reid. And Vidic. Two Sunderland attacks in quick succession. Excuse my surprise, but it's not happened before in this match.
Well, certainly young Rafael de Silva showed his inexperience there, diving in twice, getting skinned both times.
Tevez turning Tainio. Advantage play by Mark Halsey. And Berbatov can't make the most of it.
Just sensing the stadium now, the crowd are just beginning to get a bit frustrated, Steve. One or two shouts here from the back of the stand.
Rafael, dogged work from the Brazilian fullback. Now it's Rooney. And Rafael again, beyond Berbatov for Giggs! Would have been sensational had he hit the sweet spot.
Just got to stick this back where it come from. It's a great ball in from De Silva. Stick it back in the mixer there. There's two red shirts, look, in the 6-yard box. He could have just set that back in there. Went for glory. Ended up in the Stretford end.
Whatever the whys and wherefores of Sunderland's ploy today, I think they deserve every credit for resisting United for so long. United so often irresistible. Carrick. That was a clever, sweet, well-placed chip to Rooney!
Brilliant take by Rooney. When it comes, effortless. He takes it under control, tries to go on the outside. Doesn't quite get it back across the face of the goal.
(18-1) in terms of goal attempts now.
Kenwyne Jones has just touched the ball for the first time. He's been on for what, 10 minutes?
Thing is, John, no matter how many attempts Manchester United have, the only stat that matters is right up on the screen there.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Big 3 points here waiting for Manchester United.
No one will remember the chances missed. The only thing anybody will remember is the scoreline out of this.
You know, you say a lot of credit should be given to Sunderland the way they're defended. I think also that United certainly have not been at their best today. They've been quite poor in the last third. One or two poor decisions have been made, like that one there from Giggs.
Well, we saw Liverpool held by West Ham on Monday, and Chelsea from a winning position turned around by Arsenal. Fulop taking his time here.
Yeah. Just winding up this Old Trafford crowd, certainly the Stretford end there that he's defended in front of. Just trying to kill off a few seconds.
United with such a congested fixture calendar at the moment, of course, mentioned the FIFA Club World Cup, which is coming up later this month, into the semi-finals of the League Cup. They've been drawn against Derby today. Giggs floating one. I think It's tailor-made for a Manchester United Tottenham final, with all due respect to Burnley and to Derby County.
Well, the mighty Spurs are the holders, of course. That terrific final last year against Chelsea, or this year should I say, when they overcame Chelsea, Abraham Grant's Chelsea, by 2-1 at the new Wembley. A great day for Spurs fans who haven't been able to celebrate too much over the last few seasons.
And saying that about Burnley, let's just remember as well, they have knocked out Chelsea and Arsenal.
And had a great win today, of course, in the Championship, away from home.
Rafael. Just over a quarter of an hour now for Manchester United. Eyes turning to the clocks in the stadium here as this winds on. Carrick. Malbranque. Did he save the corner there? It was Whitehead. And again, has been in the wars a little bit.
He's signalling down to the bench. Struggling a little bit, looking to try and go down. Maybe the referee can stop the game, but no, looks like the ref wants to carry on.
They've only got the one substitution left available to them. Berbatov! Big chance, big miss.
Great ball in, these have to be put away. Watch this ball in from Carrick. Cuts out everybody, goalkeeper stays at home. That's got to be tucked away in the corner. Was Berbatov, did he have one eye on the goalkeeper? Nah, maybe not. Poor execution. They don't come much better than that, Steve.
Well, he just managed to pull back a little from Danny Collins there. Just gave him that little bit of extra space. Very fine margins. Carlos Edwards here, the winger who's been out on loan this season, is set to come on presumably for Whitehead. Now the change. Well, he's been a real workhorse for Sunderland.
Terrific captain's performance from Whitehead. Worked tirelessly in that midfield. He's had no choice.
Of course, he's one of a handful of Sunderland players who does know what it's like to get relegated.
Yeah, he's been there before. Edwards probably come out on this right-hand side. Malbranque will probably just move in one. Supplement Andy Reid in the centre of that midfield.
Yeah, exactly right, John. Malbranque putting pressure there on Carrick. Well, no more substitutions available here to either manager, as Tevez slides it out for Rooney. Rafael. Rooney. Berbatov not allowed the freedom by Collins this time. Rooney. One goal from him was enough to beat Manchester City last week. Here's Andy Reid. Sunderland suddenly getting a few forward here, and Edwards is one of them on the near side. Chase on here for Tevez, flag up.
Well, that one was very close.
Rooney. Interception by Tainio. This is Reid. Jones trying to get in behind Vidic. He's usually supreme in those sort of areas. A little niggling injury here for Whitehead. Could be of concern to Sunderland, particularly with some very important upcoming fixtures.
It's just reached that period now, I think, when even the United players are playing with a little bit of desperation on the pitch. They know themselves now, with only 12 minutes left of this 90 minutes. They need to get this goal. They need to get this breakthrough. Some of their decision making has not been the best.
Chimbonda, any which way will do. Vidic. Oh, and Bardsley left it. Rooney for Tevez! Foot wrong the other night.
Even that ball had a bit of desperation about it. Rooney just pulls it back neatly though to Tevez. Could Giggs have done better at the back post? Could Berbatov have followed that one in? They just need to get a break.
Well, typically we look at meetings between the teams at the top as being particularly significant. It seems to be that the teams at the top are having their biggest struggles against teams near the bottom. Just ask Arsenal.
Yeah, we seem to have had quite a few just of late.
Rafael trying to force a path through. Evra. Anderson. Now Tevez. And Rooney. It's Rooney. It's beyond Berbatov. It's cleared by Chimbonda. Rooney again. Off the chest. Berbatov up there. And headed behind by Bardsley, who really wasn't sure what was over his shoulder.
Not enough red shirts for me in the penalty box here. Rooney puts this one in. 5 blue shirts up against 1 red shirt. Really should have got some more bodies in that box.
Last 10 minutes. Incessant United pressure today. In goes Vidic. Back for Rooney. Wide for Giggs. Chipped into Vidic!
Good ball in from Giggs. Straight to the head of Vidic. And just when you want one to creep inside the post, it goes straight to the goalkeeper. Kelvin Davis all over again.
Have you ever seen stats like that? 85 to 15% of the possession.
I think that's very generous on Sunderland, Steve. That could quite easily be 95%.
Another curiosity I mentioned about meetings between the so-called Big Four. I'll come back to that in a sec. Chimbonda guards against Evra, rather cleverly as well. But United, of course, they've played Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, just 1 point taken out of 9, although admittedly all those 3 were away from Old Trafford. But compared to last year when they took 13 out of 18, they're going to need a few dreams to be fulfilled at Old Trafford in the second half of the season to reclaim their title. Anderson, Tevez, Berbatov, Rooney, onside here, Tevez, Giggs, oh it must be Anderson pulled the trigger, what was blocked. Tainio, the hero for Sunderland.
Great decision by Giggs just to set it for Anderson. I thought Anderson was already celebrating as that ball come back. Tainio does brilliant.
Giggs corner, Anderson acrobatically, Tino, it needs a touch, and once again Anderson a toe away from connecting with Carrick's effort.
Carrick doesn't really hit the target. This is the first chance. Giggs pulls it back to Anderson. Anderson's already celebrating. Tainio comes in from nowhere to clear it. Oh, Anderson saw a gaping goal staring at him. Just got to put it in the net. Alex has dropped his chewing gum as well.
I don't suppose he's calling the Samaritans, is he? Rooney.
Well, for once it's a poor cross from Rooney. He's delivered such good balls in from that area of the pitch. But just for once, he puts it straight at the Sunderland goalkeeper.
Well, Sunderland's play may not have been too pretty today, but it's been blooming effective. They have thwarted and frustrated Manchester United to the point where there are just 7 minutes remaining.
They've been here before, of course, United, in this kind of situation. And they've had to just keep foraging forward, looking for the break, keep playing the same way.
Tevez really grafting hard for the team there.
Yeah, well played, referee.
Referee wants Diouf to move away here as Rooney is preparing to leave this free kick, possibly for Giggs.
He's got the artillery come up from the back, both Ferdinand and Vidic. Not very often on the score sheet, these two.
One Ferdinand guarding another.
Shocking
Hugely
ball.
Disappointing one from Giggs. Just turned 35, Ryan Giggs. Anderson. Ferdinand. Carrick. Sunderland saying, come on, break us down if you possibly can. Rooney. Out by Collins. Well, you see the desperation in the Sunderland ranks. Just knock it away.
Need to keep that back door shut as well, though, United. It's all right throwing everybody forward, but just one break and Sunderland could get something from it.
United would take anything now to get a goal. Evra. Held up by Anton Ferdinand.
Good delivery, Ryan. Got to drop it into that danger zone. Give your strikers and defenders an opportunity.
Giggs. Filled by Diouf. Rafael. Rooney. It needs something sensational. Little touch from Rio Ferdinand. Here's Tevez. Now Diouf feeding Malbranque. Anderson mopping up. I think Berbatov's role is just to stay as the target, the spearhead of United's attack. He's hardly moved. We'll give him someone to aim at. It's Bardsley. It's Rooney. Yet another corner. Rooney. Vidic underneath that. Once again, just hammer it away. United won't score from there. Not normally, unless David Beckham's on the pitch.
The crowd are shouting shoot when it fell to Van der Sar.
Rafael. In comes Vidic. Here we go again.
I think United should leave Vidic at centre forward. Just chuck that ball in the penalty box. Let Vidic chase it. Try and win a knockdown. Get something scruffy.
Utterly relentless from United. Fulop got a touch. Malbranque just prods it away, but again it's retrieved by Anderson. It's coming straight back at Sunderland here. They've got players forward. Berbatov with a little flick through. Now Giggs. Berbatov. Ferdinand. Rooney. Chance here. Evra. Not quite.
United, they've got 9 forwards on the pitch now, Steve.
I think the commentators reaching more of a crescendo than the match here. Reid, Malbranque. Look who's back there. Really intelligent play from Rooney. Tevez. Well, United fans around the world be right on the edge of their seats at this point. Tevez. Is that a handball? Carrick, wide for Rafael. Great ball in as well. Malbranque angles it on. Vidic back down to Carrick. Berbatov in there. How are Sunderland surviving this? Vidic, Evra. There will be, we're told, 4 minutes of added time. That's the latest word from the side. Now Kenwyne Jones for Sunderland. Don't tell me they're going to get a goal here right at the death. Jones.
They've got a corner.
Wouldn't that just be the twist in the tale of all time?
Stick it in the box.
Well, they're not in a hurry, and I just wonder here, John, whether they might just stick it in the corner, keep it down there.
Well, I think that will be a coach's reaction.
How much ambition?
Yeah, just leave it there, but it's Reid that's come over to take it.
There you go. They'll just take the ball. Reid might make more of this. It's Reid. Oh, maybe a gasp or two of relief. Stadium. But it's not over yet. Almost up on the 90 minutes here with Rooney. Carrick, shooting range for Carrick, took a deflection off the post, it's Vidic, and United have the breakthrough. Relentless pressure, incessant pressure, United have got their goal, and surely now have got their victory.
I said stick Vidic at centre forward, didn't I? Just happened to be in there. Once it comes back off the post, it's Carrick who tries a shot, gets a deflection, hits the post, comes back to Vidic. How do you like him? There's the deflection. I think it came off of... is it Edwards? I think it hits Edwards. But anyway, Fulop scrambling across to get it. Can't get there. And for once this afternoon, the ball in the penalty box has fallen to a red shirt. So many times it's gone to a blue defender. And there's the reaction of Edwin van der Sar at last.
Feel the relief around Old Trafford. All those pent-up feelings suddenly burst out of the bodies of the Manchester United players. Nemanja Vidic. Priceless goal. And it's, well, in a way, it's really cruel on Sunderland having survived for the full 90 minutes.
Well, Rooney's took a card for the team there. That's a yellow card that he didn't particularly want, but he had to take it for the team, having just gone ahead in the 91st minute.
Well, you know something, John, that is really significant. It's his 5th yellow of the season. He will miss Tottenham next week.
Yeah, but also it was done in desperation, really, to break up that Sunderland attack. They could have broken clear and could have got the equaliser.
Swept away by Rafael. How quickly the mood at Old Trafford has changed. Tevez now, twisting, tormenting Bardsley. It's Tevez! And it's wide.
Bardsley does well here. 1v1 situation, really should have sent him inside, but he sends him down wide of the goal. Tevez can't hit the target from that kind of distance. United just need to shut this back door now.
Tevez. Oh, the industry, the effort there from both attacker and defender.
It'll be United now trying to slow this game down. Here we can see the deflection. Fulop scrambling across, and just for once, possibly the only time in the whole game where it's fallen nicely for United.
One important point, as you saw the replay there, Vidic running from an onside position. He ran from very deep. No question of being offside and gaining an advantage by being in an offside position when it came back off the post. Something of a contentious point with the game between Chelsea and Arsenal last week. He must be feeling so much more comfortable now. Anderson. It's Anderson. Never really got hold of that. Never scored for Nani.
Suddenly the urgency has changed in Sunderland's game.
Well, that was a priceless moment from Nemanja Vidic. It was set to be the most one-sided 0-0 of all time. It was threatening to be, very reminiscent, almost a carbon copy of the match here between these sides in April 2006. But in the end, United got their goal. And while Ricky Sprague's men and Martin Fulop in particular managed to keep United at bay for a full 90 minutes, as Carrick's shot was deflected back off the post, up popped Vidic, and that goal is absolutely vital in United's quest to pile on the pressure on the top two. A huge sense of relief at Old Trafford today after what was incessant Manchester United pressure. It was something like 85% of the possession they had in the second half, but Sunderland, well, they resisted for so long, and it's rather tough on them, having resisted for the 90 minutes, that they leave with nothing. But Manchester United victorious today, back to third in the table. United 1, Sunderland 0. No one was going to leave this one early, not with United attacking for a full 90 minutes. And when the goal came in the 91st minute, it came after Michael Carrick's shot deflected there off Edwards, back off the post. First to follow up was Nemanja Vidic, second league goal of the season, priceless for United. United beating Sunderland today, managerless Sunderland, by 1-0.
Dramatic conclusion then at Old Trafford, but United deserved it. It's hard to feel too sorry for Sunderland. 15 shots on target to their 2, 12 shots off target to their none, 27 shots to 2, and they win it by 1-0, and the possession is 81-19 in favour of Manchester United. Well, here are the 15 shots on target. The one that mattered was the closest one in. The ball hit the post and Vidic turning it home after Carrick's effort was deflected. And then there's 12 efforts off target for Sunderland, just the 2 shots on target. Just thought for a moment at 0-0 they might even snatch the win, but it wasn't to be. And it was richly deserved for Manchester United. Here are the attacking areas. The goal in the end came down the middle, didn't it? Carrick's shot driving in, inside of the post and tapped home. And 13% down the left, 15 down the right. Here are the Sunderland attacking areas for what they're worth, with 19% of the possession in the game. 76% of their moves came down the middle. And here are the action areas. Sunderland, well, I suppose they were consistent. 9% is how it was at half-time, and 9% is how it finished. Sunderland possession in the United final third. And Vidic was the hero in the end. 2 shots on target. That header with which he should have scored. And then, thankfully for him, he did score in the 91st minute. Well, Manchester United were frustrated for 91 minutes, and in the end, it was their central defender, Nemanja Vidic, who popped up to give them the win that keeps them just about at pace with the rest of the top of the Premier League. All the big sides managing to get victories today. Hope you enjoyed the football feast. From all of the team, bye-bye.